hello, hello. Welcome. I am Solid Blue Sister, and welcome to My Turn to Talk. And today is Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk about some battles are fought by refusing to say yes. And what I mean by that is that, this past week, I've really been thinking about ICE and this whole, you know, we're going to go into airports and take over the jobs that TSA is supposed to have. Now, for somebody who travels, okay, I am not a fan of TSA. I never have been. Um, I have run into some rude TSA agents who, for whatever reason, had no reason to be rude other than the fact that they were TSA and they could get away with it for the most part. Um, but for the most part, a lot of TSA agents are nice people. I just don't like the um, politics behind it. So now, since TSA basically, um, their agents have not been paid in going on 6 weeks now, and a lot of them are refusing to come to work. A lot of them have quit. So the Trump clan decided that, hey, let's put TSA, let's replace TSA with ICE agents. Let's put ICE agents in um, the airports. Let's have them, scan people in and, check their IDs or what have you, tell them to take off their shoes or their jackets, whatever. And we'll let them do it. Now, not only is ICE not trained to do that, but ICE is a bully agency. They bully people. And it's only a matter of time, in my opinion, before someone gets shot. And possibly killed. And it'll be a cover up. It'll be a cover up because ICE has been covering up, for their agents uh, for a very long time. We have to, as a nation, stop refusing to say yes. Yes, this is okay. Yes, we can do this. Sure, yeah, come on in. We have to stop doing that. We have to stop allowing bullies to bully. And the Trump clan is a bully. They are. Plain and simple. They are bullies. Now, some people may say, oh, well, ICE will make flying safer. They'll make flying easier. Well, that's what they said about TSA, and I don't know how true that is. I mean, because I don't care how much security you have on the ground. If someone wants to turn a plane into a bomb, they can. 9/11 proved it. Now, granted, TSA was not, all, doing everything that, they were doing during 9/11. I don't even think TSA was even around technically at 9/11. But you can't take an agency that bullies people. Excuse me. You can't take an agency that kills people and expect them to treat people who are just trying to get from point A to point B with respect. It's not going to happen. Right now, we have people who are just trying to, like I said, get from point A to point B. But they're not able to do it. Number one, the cost of flying has risen to an astronomical, just astronomical. I was looking for a flight last night on two airlines that I fly for a trip in October. The fare, excuse me, the fare has literally doubled. Now, you look at fuel costs that have gone up. Ridiculous, just ridiculous. Takes a lot of fuel to fuel a jet. It does. And a lot of the reason for our fuel going up is because we, America, are stupidly in a war that we should not have been in. But yet we're saying yes to this Klan who has taken over America. And the people who have said yes to him, you know who you are. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Plain and simple. Shame on you. It just, once again, it just doesn't make sense to me as to why Americans will allow their country to have someone like Trump in control. Now, there are many reasons why, people have said that Trump started this war. There are different reasons why people have said that Trump wanted a war. Was it a distraction from the Epstein files? Was it a wish to have a third term as president, as Franklin Roosevelt did during World War II? Because they didn't have, they were so engulfed in a world war, they weren't going to vote. They weren't going to take time to vote or anything. Is it because he wanted to distract from all the illegal things that the people in his clan were doing? Look at how this country is being run. And people in this country have said yes to it. So, are you still saying yes when your loved ones are going to war, are going to fight a war that we should not be in? Are your loved ones, I mean, are you saying yes now that, you know, we're talking ICE agents going to airports and having firearms when you're putting your phone and your laptop in a little plastic bin to be scanned through an x-ray machine? So if you beep, are they going to snatch you out the line and hold a gun to your head, or to your back, and throw you on the ground? Why are you beeping? Why are you beeping? I may sound over the top right now, but am I really? Am I really? You know, just think about it. ICE in airports. It's seriously. So when I just think about this. So when I'm getting dropped off at the airport and you drive up and you're trying to get your bags out of the car, is there going to be an ICE agent standing at the door telling you to hurry up, move on, you can't park here, and you're trying to get your bags out of the trunk and what have you? And when you walk into the airport and you're trying to check in, or wherever you're going, you're going to have these ICE agents all over the place. We're at the point of where this country already is in martial law. We are. We just don't want to acknowledge it. ICE has way too much freedom. The police, the popo, they've always had too much freedom to do whatever the hell they want. It has been proven over and over and over. And this country is continuing to say yes. We are continuing to say yes. We are continuing to um, say yes to people that we should be saying no to. Hey, Anthony, we continue to say yes. Now, you have people who all of a sudden have had buyer's remorse when it comes to Trump. Oh, I made a mistake. I want to change my vote. Doesn't work like that. We have to stop saying yes and start saying no. We have to be strong enough as a country to push back and fight back. But if we allow a man like Trump to continue to do ridiculous things and make ridiculous laws. Like, I mean, ICE is going into Atlanta airports today. Atlanta International Airport, they're getting ICE agents. And we'll start to see them in most of the major airports, which I think is a travesty. I don't want to go into an airport and see an ICE agent. Now, again, I come back to flight safety. That's what TSA was there for, right? To make sure you're not carrying a bomb in your shoe or your electronics are not some type of bomb. You're not carrying some type of pointy object that can threaten the flight crew or possibly the person next to you. I just want to get on the damn plane, get from point A to point B, and call it a day. But there is going to be an incident or incidents that ICE will create. The lines at the airport, because TSA agents have either quit or have not reported to work because they're not being paid. Already the lines are 3 hours long. That's including if you have TSA pre. What do you do? What do you do? And I'm going to go to the blame game right now, which I know a lot of people are not going to like and agree with me. Um, I have been accused of being a conservative, not a MAGA, but a Republican, because I do have some conservative views. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do believe in order. I don't believe we should have chaos, but we have chaos every single day. We just have to learn how to navigate through it. And whether you realize it or not, you're in your life, you deal with chaos every single day. When you're going to work in the morning and there's that traffic jam, that's chaos. When you're that school teacher and you give your students an assignment and they're moaning and groaning and they don't want to do it, that's chaos. When we have ICE agents out in public killing people, that's chaos. When you have police officers like Derek Chauvin putting his knee on someone's neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds and extinguishing their life and unaliving them, that's chaos. If you're in a domestic violence situation, that's chaos. You just lost your job, that's chaos. We live in chaos every single day. But that does not mean that we should enable our government by saying, yes, the chaos is okay, because the chaos is not okay. You know, We as a nation, as a world, we as human beings who are on this planet, who occupy this planet every single day, no matter what part of the globe you're in, we have to stop saying yes. I am not a fan of Israel at all. I think what they're doing to the Palestinians is disgusting. But you're saying yes to your government because, out of greed, we want the land, we want what Palestinians have. And that's what, war is about occupation. War is about control. War is about, I want what you have, I want to control what you have. Look at look look at what um, Russia. I mean, this was a war supposedly that they were going to wrap up in a month. It's more than 2 years. It's more than two. Hey George, it's more than two years. Yeah, so you can call your congressional switchboard and voice your opinion, but how many people really listen? Some do, some don't. But it has just gotten to the point for me, where you know you you look at these. I'm sorry, guys. I got distracted for a moment. I'm sharing the show. Um, you get to the point where you're past being fed up. You're past being fed up. Sorry about that. You're past being fed up. But I'm more fed up with people who have said yes. And I'm going to go back to what I was originally going to say, because I am going to play the blame game. And yes, it's 10 years later and solid, get over it, move on. But this is something that, and I have said before that I hold grudges. I can hold a lifetime grudge. And I am still holding a grudge from 2016. I'm holding a grudge from the Bernie people who were so incensed with Hillary Clinton that they refuse to vote for Hillary because they were just so incensed that she stole the nomination. I hope Trump does win. I'm going to sit this out. I'm going to vote for Trump anyway. Seriously? And this is what we got. This is what happened. I'm still pissed off about that because part of that, the people who did that, the Bernie supporters who, I mean, you can support whomever you want. But at the end of the day, you have to be logical. You have to have common sense. And if you're a Bernie person who sat out the 2016 election because you were pissed off that Hillary Clinton got the nomination, if you're a Bernie person who voted for Trump just to stick it to the Hillary people or to stick it to Hillary, but see, those same people now are bitching and moaning. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know, how you doing, Blunt? I don't get it. And let's talk about the Trump supporters. Okay, you voted for Trump in 2016. I'm gonna sort of give you a pass because the writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall. But then again, it was like, do I vote for this man or do I vote for this woman who's married to Bill Clinton, who had this scandal with Monica Lewinsky? And as Hillary Clinton told Trump, my husband's not running for president. I am. Some people couldn't see past that, but you know what? I'll give you that half pass. You didn't know. Oh, okay. But you did it a second time in 2020, and you did it a third time in 2024. Come on now. Stop saying yes. Stop saying yes. You know, okay, I go back to a little further to 2010, where they didn't show up for the midterms because they claim Obama didn't do enough, which set everything in motion to destruction. You know what? You're absolutely right. And is that Tech? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I'm probably not. I apologize. But you're right. Because in 2010, 2008, around that time, that's when the Tea Party was born. And the Tea Party morphed into MAGA. But see, unfortunately, we are stuck with two political parties when we should have at least four. At least four. It still wouldn't be perfect. But again, for me, it's the lesser of two evils because somebody who looks like me is always going to get screwed. Period. That's a fact. Okay. Um, uh, some people really think if they cannot get their way, everyone should suffer. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Jubilation. You're absolutely right. Some people want everybody to suffer. And the country is suffering. The world is suffering because of Trump. They are. Now, you can say, you can pretend to yourself that, oh, I wasn't part of that. Oh, well, my vote, it didn't matter. Oh, well, I thought your vote does matter. Your vote does count. You can't sit out things like the midterms. Midterms are extremely important. Midterms are more important than, the 4-year elections for president. Your vote for the garbage man, the dog catcher in your city, makes a difference because that dog catcher and garbage man can turn out one day to run for president and they can be another Trump. Nurse Dave says, I totally agree. This mentality should be gone. We need people that are for the people to be voted in. But again, who is really for the people? And is it possible to be for the people totally? Because even though Kamala Harris, I voted for her. I wanted Kamala Harris to win. She did not. But Kamala Harris made some mistakes. When she said she's for the people, she wasn't 100%. I don't know if it was because of her husband or what, but she wasn't for Palestinians, or I'm sorry, for Palestinians and for Palestine. She wasn't. She made, in my opinion, she made a huge mistake not allowing people um, uh, from Palestine to speak at the Democratic National Convention. Palestinians voted third party, or they sat out. If she had gotten the Palestinian vote, she could have won, but she didn't. So was she for the people? We know Trump's not for the people. America has so many different factions to it. We have so many different nationalities living in this country. We have so many different languages that people are speaking. You walk out of your house, if you get on a bus to take the bus to work or take the train, you're going to see people who don't look like you, who don't speak the same language as you. So when you're going to say you're for the people, you have to be for the people. That includes everyone. And I'm not going to lie, that's hard to do because we all have our biases. But when you're talking about sitting at the top and running a nation, you better do your damn best to be for the people as much as you possibly can. Cohen Tech says the frail Mies posts things like they like Trump because he pisses everyone off that they don't like, or they like the idea that they can hamper everyone else's joy in life because they're miserable. You're right. You're right. Some people don't want other people to be happy. I mean, I know people who, if something good happens to you, they're upset. When they see something bad happen to you, or a negative, or things just don't necessarily go your way the way you want it, they're over there grinning. Well, you can't have everything. Some people want others, if I'm miserable, you're going to be miserable too. I once worked at a place where um, three people were fired. And one of their friends who they hung out with all the time, that person wasn't fired. They told that person that she should quit so they can stand in unity. This person said, I have a family to feed. Why am I going to quit because you got fired? But you have people that think like that. We have to stop saying yes as a country. We have to stop saying yes. Techno George says your voice is your vote. Your voice is your vote, but the Save Act will take away that vote. Our vote. Who knows what's going to happen in 2028 or 2027, November of 27, which is next year. Who knows what's going to happen in terms of voting? But what I do know, between now and then, America, this country, is getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the depravity of what is called Trump. And I didn't come in on here today to Trump bash or anything, but again, when I think about ICE in airports, it pisses me off. It really, really does. Flying in the last month has become a nightmare. And like I said, I'm looking, I was online yesterday looking for tickets for a trip that I want to take in October, and the 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 price of tickets is ridiculous. Ridiculous. And I am someone who books my tickets in advance. This is March for an October trip. I'm one of those people who have my tickets at least 4 months in advance. I haven't bought anything. Am I going? Don't know, because of the price of airfare. So not only am I going to have to pay double of what I usually pay if I decide to go, I'm going to have to deal with the crap that's going on at the airports. And I do have TSA free. I am used to just going in and getting through the line, and that's it. If anything, maybe wait, maybe like 10 minutes instead of the long line that's not TSA free. But that's not happening right now. All the lines are long. All of the lines are long. Um, let's see. They've been wanting to privatize TSA for years and have military-looking presence at airport, uh, like Israel. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. We cannot continue saying yes to a regime or anyone who is doing what this clan that's occupying the White House is doing right now. And I blame every single person who voted for Trump. I blame every single person. The price you saw is airline baking in the cost already, all because of this kind of idiotic foreign policy. You're right. I mean, literally, we have, I mean, these are people who are supposed to keep us safe. But you're not keeping someone safe when you're sending someone else's child off to war. And I am going to say child, because whether you're a husband, wife, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, cousin, you're somebody's child. You're somebody's child. But you know one thing that I noticed? I don't care what party you're in, what political party you're in. You never see those children going off to war. You don't see that. Send Barron Trump to war. These senators and congressmen and congresswomen send their kids off to war. Let them fight in front of our children. Let them be on the front line. Won't happen. Won't happen. I went to the store and saw that diesel was $6.30. On Sunday, it was 5.89, 40 cents in 2 days. I mean, it's ridiculous. Gas prices, when gas prices started to rise way back when, that's when I pulled my bike out and started riding my bike. I drove my car Sunday. Hadn't been in my car for a week. I ride my bike around town. Part of it, exercise, but the other part, I drive a gas guzzler. I don't want to pay for the gas. And even if I didn't drive a gas guzzler, if I drove a go kart, the price of gas is still going to be high. What do you do? What do you do? Well, that blame can be spread out to the progressives who sat out the election, white males like me, not out there showing enough support for a black woman to lead America. But you know what? Yeah, white males did not want Kamala Harris in, but you know what? A lot of it, you have those white women. You have those white women out there who also didn't vote the way they should have. They voted against their interests. And that's the thing. It's like you vote against your interests, the same interests that continue over and over and over, slap you in the face. And the people who do show up, and yes, I was part of the 92% of the black women who did show up. I don't understand it. I truly don't understand it. Because you're not only voting against your interests, what you're doing is you're voting your color. You're voting your color. You are continually saying to people like Trump, yes, it's okay. But then when it comes back and slaps you in the face, which it always does and always will, you go on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, or you get a show on YouTube and you start bitching and moaning. And I'm going to say this, I had a contentious show a couple of weeks ago where I was talking about immigration. And I'm sorry. I'm not going, you can have, you have some Latinos who are upset that, why aren't black people out there, walking and protesting with us. I'm sorry. I'm not going to walk with people, the majority of you who voted yes for Trump. I'm not going to sit up here and walk hand in hand with you because now you or your relatives are being deported, but you said yes. I'm not doing that. And stop asking black people to support you, especially black women. I didn't say yes. I said no. I am a boomer. And I vote in every single election. I can honestly and truthfully say that. I have never missed one. I've never missed a midterm. I've never missed a general election. I don't miss the voting that goes around in my town. We have these little things like voting for mayor, voting for city council, voting if, we want the trash cans picked up on this day, or, voting for, pet laws about picking up your pet's poop and what have you. I vote for that stuff. I get out there and I vote because I don't have the right to complain. I don't have the right to bitch and moan if I'm not at least trying to make a difference. And people can say, oh, my vote doesn't matter, whatever. It does matter. There have been people that I voted for who have lost. There are people who I voted for and they have won. It's always going to be like that. There's going to be people who you vote for that win, people who you vote for that lose. That's life. Just like when you run a race, everyone's not going to win. However, there can't be a first place if there's not a last place. But some people just let people just walk in. Marjorie Taylor Greene, when she first ran, she ran unopposed. No one should ever run unopposed. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green Party, whatever. No one should ever run unopposed. That right there alone is dangerous. Stop saying yes, it's okay. Stop saying yes, it's okay. When gas goes up, everything else goes up, and this economy was already shaky before the whole Iran situation. You're right. You're right. And I'm gonna tell people, y'all can laugh at me if you want. I don't care. In the last 5 years or so, I have become somewhat of a prepper. I always was in little ways and stuff, but I don't have a whole room full of canned goods or anything like that. But my household is to the point where if the lights go out or if there's a storm or something, we have food to eat. We have rations. We can, exist in our home without having to worry about how we're going to survive. I know people who after, snowstorm or something, everybody runs to the store. I have to go to the store. And you've been in the house for four days. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves. I'm one of those people who, yes, I do have flashlights and I do have extra, batteries and what have you, because if we ever were in a serious situation where I had to barter, I have things to barter with. Because at some point, cash is not going to work. When you're cold and hungry, it doesn't matter if someone is paying you $100. That $100 is not going to put food in my stomach and keep me warm or keep me cool in some situations. It isn't. Growing up, my dad always told my mother and my sister and I, always drive as though you're going to get stuck. And I do. And I have been stuck in some places. But I wasn't in a situation where I couldn't function. I carry extra clothes. I carry first aid kit. I have one of those units where if my electricity went out, whatever, I can charge my cell phone. I can charge my battery. I can function. I have water. I have all of that because I don't rely on this government for anything. I don't rely on them, but I refuse to tell them yes. I refuse to say yes. I refuse to say yes to a regime that is so incredibly stupid. And the stupid people who voted for him, I'm sorry, you're stupid. The white man who did should have been out there showing it's okay, that whole peer pressure BS that can help sway people. Yeah. George says, I can barter with my skills for fixing stuff. I can fix anything. I just can't fix stupidity. Only my vote can do that. This is true. But if a storm is raging, whether it be snow, rain, fire, whatever, I have been telling you, I am a ham radio person. Every Sunday I'm on my ham radio with my ham radio friends, whatever, testing out the equipment, just talking, whatever. Because ham radios are important. Your cell phone's not going to work if there's a catastrophe. The first thing they do is bring down cell towers. I'm in California, in the Paradise Fire a couple of years ago. You had one man out there who had a ham radio, and he made more than 5,000 calls, so to speak, to relatives to let people know that their family members were okay and what the situation was. I've said that for years. Get a ham radio. Your license is good for 10 years. It's free. Well, it was free when I got mine. I don't know what it is now with Trump. But you know, we just we just cannot you know what, I need to write that down. We cannot keep allowing people like Trump to dictate how we live. It's beyond scary. And like I said, whether you want to admit it or not, we are in martial law and have been for quite some time. Look at the Supreme Court. It's a mess. It's a mess. And Chief Roberts said the other day that, people need to stop threatening, judges on the court and what have you. It's gotten to that point. It has gotten to that point. The Supreme Court has always been shady, so to speak. But now it's just downright pathetic. They're treasonous, in my opinion. They take bribes. Clarence Thomas. They do anything to enrich their lives instead of doing what they were sworn in to do. Not all of them, but the majority of them. And you know what majority I'm talking about. Yes. And that 35 question test. You pass the test, you get your license. It's good for 10 years. They give you a grace period when your license is expiring. If you don't renew within that grace period, you got to take the test all over again. Let's talk about Morse code. Morse code here, y'all. I know Morse code because I may be somewhere sometime where my cell phone's not working or whatever, and I have to do Morse code. But people, we have so many things at our disposal to be a stronger country, to not have to say yes to people like Trump. And I'm not saying that, Obama, the Clintons, whatever, even the Bushes, were the greatest. I respect the office of the president. I respect the office. I don't respect the person who is occupying it right now. I have no respect for him. Zilch. I stopped watching a lot of the news because I can't stand looking at his face. But I refuse to say yes to him. I refuse to say yes to people who back him. I mean, you have Hedgehog running the Department of, Defense, and he's sitting in the Pentagon. He was a a TV host on Fox News. Seriously? But this is what we've become. This is what we have become. We have become, you know, a, a group of people who, you know, who don't care. We don't care. Not all of us, but a lot of us. And some people are so broken down and so defeated. Some people are so broken down and so defeated that, you know, they just don't have the strength to fight anymore. And I'm not saying you got to go march on in the streets and everything. I'm saying people who just don't have the strength to just get up and vote. They're just tired. They look around and they say, why should I? So, in a way, you're saying, yes. You're saying yes. I don't do CW saying my life well not well enough to pass when 5 WPM was required for HR, so I'm a no code extra. Okay. You have your extra. Let's see, Texas George, there is no code requirement anymore. Technician is entry level, so VHF, UHF, local. I'm a fellow Geo too. And people are defeated because that was the objective of Project 2025. Project 2025. If you all, I took the time to read it. It was a long read for me. It was a disgusting read for me, and Project 2025 told so much, and it spelled out exactly what they were going to do. Hell, Trump told you what they were going to do, but you still voted against your best interests. You still chose. And I do mean chose, to say yes to a person who consistently says no to you. Consistently. So now we're in the middle of a war, and we have already been threatened by Iran that they will come over here and they'll bring the war to us, which we should all be concerned about, because I'm not living in a fairy tale. It's very easy for the war to come over here. If we can go over there, they can come over here. They've already proven that they can. So So I have to truly just say the American people need to get their act together. And hold on one second. If you have not read this book, this is a book that I have my own little bookmarks and stuff in here. We the People Are the Problem: How Americans Betrayed America. It is a short read. It is a short read. Not but it is a very good read. It is an extremely good read. America will determine the future of the human race, yet Americans disdain their civic duty and embrace ignorance. From the wealthy coastal elite to the suburban middle class, we the people are the problem. Just reading the first paragraph there. We are. We are the problem. Because we consistently allow for the same things to happen over and over and over. We don't learn from our mistakes. We don't learn from history. We don't learn from our past. Americans are cocky. Americans are rude. But Americans have gotten a rude awakening in the last 10 years. Other countries, they're fed up with us. They're fed up. We need to stop saying yes. So, on that note, see, the people still choose to put their hand onto the burner and get burned because they were led to believe that the burner was off. Yep. Totally agree. We will continue to get burned as long as we continue to say yes. So everyone, thank you for joining us today, or joining me today. I appreciate everyone in the chat and everyone who watches the show on a replay. Well, if we get rid of history, then how can we learn from it? Well, you're right, because they are definitely trying to get rid of it. Thank you, Sonny. So I am going to end this show by saying a couple of things. Let me go here for a moment. Okay, so my email is solidbluesister@gmail.com. I am looking for, because I want to do a Boomer Gen Z show, where boomers, talk to Gen Zs and try to have a discussion. If you know anyone who is a Gen Z who would be willing to come up on the show and have a discussion, this is for Friendly Differences, which I do on Saturdays. Please email at solidbluesister@gmail.com. You have to be willing to come on air, show your face, and please have a good internet connection. Technically, on Friendly Differences, the shows are supposed to be an hour, but we get involved in those shows. They go longer than that. And I'm also doing a show on April 4th. What do white people want? I will be the only Black person on the panel. I am looking for conservatives. I have my liberals, but I want conservatives. I want MAGAs. I want someone from the Klan. I want somebody who's a Nazi. I want somebody who is going to push back. So if you are interested, again, in being on the April 4th Friendly Differences show on Saturdays, 12 noon Pacific, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, please reach out to me, solidbluesister@gmail.com. So on that note, everyone, again, thank you so much for from joining. Corintech, am I pronouncing? I know I'm not. And enjoy the rest of your morning. Also, I'm in California, so it's a little bit after 9 o'clock here, 9 a.m. But again, you all check out this book. We the People Are the Problem. Like I said, it's not a long read, but it is a good read. It is an informative read. So, George. Always, 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 always. So until next time, I will see you on Friendly Differences, hopefully on Saturday. Last Saturday, y'all, they came after me on Saturday. We did a show, Don't Call Me Cisgender, and yeah. But this Saturday show is going to be should convicted felons should convicted felons be required to be organ donors. And when I say convicted felons, I will, I'm talking about lifers, people who murdered people, uh, child, anyone who hurts a child, whatever. But anyway, that's my show for Friendly Differences. So again, until next time, everyone, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your morning. Enjoy the rest of your week. Peace.